Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, I'm playing a very serious video I've been doing for a little while. I'll go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff. Then, folks, I'm going to talk about the stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. I'm really proud of that snap. That was a good snap. Should we try it again? Should we try it for two? No, we're going to leave it alone. Perfection only happens once. But anyway, folks, super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. And whilst I'm all doing that, I'm wearing grody work clothes. Typically, when I'm inside the truck and I'm wearing grody work clothes, that means that I was on my way home from work and I found some shit to review for you. That is definitely the case today. I decided to go over there, stop off real quick, grab some stuff from the convenience store, and I actually was like almost out. I was like, I got a couple things, got a drink, whatever. And I was at the register and they had this next to the register and I was like, all right. So, what is it that I'm trying for you folks? What was it that was at the register? Well, folks, it is, boom, it's a candy bar from Casey's, which is a gas station chain. This is specifically their Mint Cookie Crunch Dark Chocolate Bar. Ooh, can we get a thing? Ha 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 ha. Can we? Ha 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 ha. Sure, that'll be the thumbnail. So yeah, I've reviewed any number of things from Casey's. They're not like my go-to gas station, but like they have some good stuff. And I do appreciate that like they have their own branded stuff, which a lot of places do, but like, for instance, like with Speedway. I live pretty close to a Speedway, and so I used to like the fact that they had like their own branded stuff and drinks and things. And they got bought out by 7-Eleven. So now they just have 7-Eleven stuff. Which is fine, but it's that homogeny. No. I like that diversity, Options are good. But anyway. So yeah. I had to pick this up. They had a couple other candy bars that weren't super interesting to me. But folks, if you watch my channel, you know I love mint and fucking chocolate. It's the best guy. There are people who will go over there and say otherwise. You don't need those people in your life. And I've mentioned this before. The worst person I've ever met in my entire life did not like mint and did not like mint and chocolate. I'm not saying that every person who doesn't like that combination is the worst person ever. But you're not in good company. Let's try a candy bar. How do I... Okay, there it is. Open it up. Now, the question is this just going to be the basic bitch chocolate molding? Because a lot of times when it's just like a branded thing... Let's find out together. Not exactly. Okay, there's a little bit of effort that went into this. Now it's still not like specific molding, but like, okay, it's not, so, alright, a few extra points. Let's open it up. It smells really good. Okay. That's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad at all. I mean, I've reviewed plenty of mint. It tastes like an Andes mint. Which, if you've never had them, they're like these little mints. They have like a whole little graphic design of the Andes Mountains. That's what this tastes like. I was like, because I'm like, I know it tastes really familiar, and yes, like obviously, mint and chocolate. I've reviewed mint chocolate things. I've eaten about 1 million of the damn things. It has a certain flavor profile, but depending on the combination and whatnot, these taste like the Andes mints. That's what they taste like, but maybe a little less complexity and a little less kind of creaminess. I want to say they're definitely a little bit harder to eat. Like it's very like hard chocolate. But it gets the job done. Using dark chocolate was a good choice. Creates a better contrast because you get that little bit of bitterness from the dark chocolate, which dark chocolate just has a stronger flavor than like your milk chocolate does. You know, if you watch my channel, you know I like contrasting flavors. I mean, it's pretty one-dimensional for what it is, but it's okay because it's doing everything I need. Yeah, I mean, fundamentally what they promised me was they're like, hey, this is a mint cookie crunch dark chocolate bar. I will say this, now that I'm looking back at the thing, I'm not getting really a cookie aspect, I'm not getting a crunchy aspect. I wasn't really thinking about it too much, so it kind of depends on like the literal interpretation of it, but I'm definitely not getting a cookie aspect, and again, not getting a crunch. It is just straight chocolate and mint. But, so I do have to kind of detract a little bit from its points because, you know, like I said, you say cookie and crunch, I'm going to expect cookie and crunch. There's no cookie or crunch. Just a straight chocolate and mint bar. In that regard, though, it does do the job pretty damn well. Like, it is as somebody who is a very avid lover of that flavor combination, this hits. It hits for me. However, there's a reason why, if you're aware of what the Andes mints are, there's a reason why the Andes mints are just these little things. Like, they're just these little chocolate, you know, little rectangles. You pop one in, you eat it, it's a wonderful treat. You go about your day. You don't really typically eat a lot of them in one sitting. Like, as delicious as they are, because, again, mint and chocolate, it is a flavor combination that really needs to be sort of savored in, what's the word I'm looking for? It was literally on the tip of my tongue. You want to savor it conservatively. You know, it is a strong flavor, and if you get too much of it, it can be a bit much. This is a strong mint and chocolate flavor. It hits actually rather hard. Not abrasively so, but to the extent where I've had 2 pieces of this, I'm going to have to save the rest of this for later. As much as I am enjoying it, this is going to be something I have to put in the fridge, and I will have to wait for that, you know, delicious mint chocolate flavor to somewhat disperse on my palate, and then, you know, maybe in a couple hours or something, I'll go over there and take off a chunk and pop it in, and it'll be a nice little treat. But, I mean, otherwise it's perfectly fine. Again, it's one-dimensional, it's not throwing anything at you that you haven't had before, but it also is giving you mostly what it promises, minus the cookie aspect and the crunch aspect. It's just mint and chocolate, and that's all it's ever going to be. And for me, that's perfectly fine. Now, all that said, 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Yes, and sort of. Would I get this again? Probably. It wouldn't be a go-to thing for me, even if I was at Casey's. I do actually have certain items that are kind of go-to items for me from Casey's. But I could see it being a thing every now and again, especially if it's close up by the cash register. I could see it being a thing where, like, I go over there, I grab, like, I think Overdrive is the Casey's exclusive Mountain Dew, which I reviewed, by the way. Go watch that review. And I could see grabbing a couple of those, maybe, you know, piece of pizza, what the hell ever. Their pizza's actually pretty decent. I could review it if you would like. Let me know in the comments. But I could see bringing that up to the register and then being like, okay. But again, it wouldn't be a go-to because even from the aspect of the mint chocolate, there's other things that I definitely prefer more that, you know, I wouldn't. This is probably really good for the price. I forget exactly how much I paid for it. But there's definitely ones that I prefer in terms of, like, texture and just overall. Because, like, again, one of the few criticisms I do have, it's a hard chocolate. Whereas comparatively, you think like a York peppermint patty, that's just wonderful. It's, dissolves in your mouth. If I'm recommending it to other people, firmly it depends on how much you like mint and chip. It's if you're a good person, okay, if you go over there, you think civically, you look out for your fellow human beings, you're not a deceitful fucking manipulative asshat, then yeah, you might like it. But no, it really does. It depends entirely on how much you like because even if you're just a little bit, like you're like, I like it okay, I think this is too much for you. But if you're like me, where you're a little bit of a nut for it, it's like, yeah, I would still pick it up every now and again. Anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of month, stupendous rest of your folks. You go over there, have yourselves a truly mint chocolate-tastic rest of your life, because it's fantastic and it's endorsed by wonderful people. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what do you do if you can't do all the time? I know I can't do all the time. Here's what you do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Even when you have an assholeometer in the vein of whether or not people like, mint chocolate. That's a pretty good way to judge if somebody's an asshole. But it is important when we actually run into situations in our life that are very stressful, frustrating, etc. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, here's the thing that I'm going to do. I am just going to go over there and just add on this little final thing. Until my sociological studies have been confirmed or denied, we'll see where it goes. I do just want to mention that I don't hold it against anybody, with the exception of one person in particular, if you don't like mint and chocolate. That's a decision to make. It's not one that I've made, clearly, but, I'm just having a bit of fun. And again, it's solely at really one person's actual expense, because, again, that person just sucks. But it doesn't matter, because fuck them anyway. But no, seriously. Conversely, hey, whatever food combination you like, maybe you're like, I like onions and yellow mustard. Well, that's fine. Don't invite me over for dinner, but good for you. Bye.